The AI bubble has bursted. AI will need compute power. Why we are bullish on these coins. Hey, consider smashing the like. If we have to earn it, that's okay. I'm back with the Brother Rue on this one. We both have some solid research that we'll get into, but we'll start things off with Rue. What do you have for us today, sir?
Was watching an interview with Larry Fink and Brian Armstrong, which we'll get into a little bit here later. Has the AI bubble burst? I believe it has. What's going to really separate the AI, the good AI from the bad AI, is compute power. Okay, so let's get into what Larry has to say here, and yeah, so let's roll this here.
Then ask the question, when people say, is there an AI bubble? I ask, well, if we don't continue to spend on this, and that means we're going to have some failures and some success stories, but if we don't spend enough faster on AI and digitization and tokenization, other countries are going to beat us.
So you think, by the way, I'll ask the AI question then. Do you think we're in an AI bubble, and do you think the economics of this are all going to make sense? If we were sitting here all together 5 years from now, will we say that we vastly overspent?
A number of the hyperscaler CEOs, and I've had this various conversation, they're not certain if they're overspending or underspending right now, but what they're certain is and they're seeing it right now. Most hyperscalers are short compute. There's not enough happening, the amount of demand for this.
Right.
That being said, the timing of this build out.
So right there, Larry Fink says we're short compute, okay? And that leads us into a partner of Zebex, Galaxy Digital, which is kind of shoring up this compute, okay? So I played this for you guys a couple days ago. I just want to remind you of this. So we're going to play it again here. This is Mike Novogratz with Raoul Powell, and he's talking about what his company, Galaxy Digital, does.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
I have many friends that are earning every single day trading futures on BTCC. It's a simple process, and even if you don't want to learn how to trade, you could follow a trader on the site and let him do the trading for you. And again, I'm not trying to have any of you guys use your hard-earned money to lose anything. You don't know what you're doing? Don't jump into this, but there is money to be made, and don't use your nest egg for leverage trading. Use a separate portfolio. But I suggest learn how to trade. Earn you some extra money on BTCC. It's easy. You don't have to KYC, and you don't have to use a virtual private network VPN. This is a wonderful site. They've been around since 2011. Give them a shot. Also, when you earn that extra money, you can store that on your Decent wallet. The Decent wallet was not affected by the XRPL debacle, where the backdoor of many wallets was open and there was a breach. So Decent wallet was not affected by that. Decent wallet is as safe as you keep your seed phrase. It's a wonderful product, and you can get the discount by using the link. It's the only way to get the affiliate discount, and that is to use an affiliate link. So that link is popping up on the upper right side of your screen, and it is the one that you will use. You will also get free shipping. Pick you up a Decent wallet today. Secure your assets. If you don't have them stored in a wallet and sitting on an exchange, then you're at risk. So pick you one up today. Thank you.
And we're going to play that right now.
It's hard to tell your story when you're listed in Canada and you're a US-based company, and you're not allowed to. It's like pre-selling a market and all these SEC rules. And so we've done a much better job telling our story, and we've got a good story to tell. We have an unbelievable data center business, right? We have 800 megawatts already leased out. That's 20 billion plus.
And explain to people how that came about. Why you suddenly came into the data, because people won't put two and two together, but it's best to explain it.
Yeah, a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill. We got into Bitcoin mining after 2021 because we had made so much money. We had put a lot of it into an opportunity zone, and Bitcoin mining is a great opportunity zone asset. And so we said, okay, let's Bitcoin mine in opportunity zones. And as it turned out, we didn't own our own data center. So we were going to places that we could host that were in opportunity zones. And as 2022 started unfolding and the price of Bitcoin came down, a lot of those hosting agreements turned out not to be as firm as you'd think. Right. There was either deception or bad judgment on our part. And we were like, oh shit, we have all these chips and no place to put them. And so Chris Ferraro, my president, was like, I'm not doing this again. We're going to own our own infrastructure. And so we searched for infrastructure, and there was a company named Argo, public company, that was under duress. And we gave them a loan, and we bought their data center from them. That gave them enough money to pay back the debt they owed and stay alive. Well, that data center called Helios turned out to literally be not just the best Bitcoin mining data center, but one of the best AI data centers. And when I first got my phone and started playing with ChatGPT, we started talking about, well, how do we play AI? And I was quite frankly on a plane with a friend of mine who's an expert at power. And he gave me the whole, we're running out of power thesis. And I told him at my data center, and he's like, dude, I'll buy that. I was like, well, and all of a sudden people started coming to us, and we were smart enough not to sell it. We did our homework and quickly realized, out with the Bitcoin mines and with the AI data center, we have a strong team down there. We made relationships with a lot of the hyperscalers and picked CoreWeave to be our partner. It was a risky bet to some degree, but they were at the same part of their growth trajectory as we were. And now on our first 800 megawatts, which is what we had, they have leased it out for 15 years plus two 5-year extensions. Their credit's getting better by the week, which is great for us. And so we are in the process of building. The first data halls come online in the first quarter, and that's when it starts cash flowing.
So there we go. So they're building, they decide to do away with their Bitcoin mining and just do AI data center. Okay. Now, keep in mind, I just want to remind you here that they are Zebek's partner with Deutsche Bank when it comes to all Unity stablecoin. So I think this is really going to separate the good AI from the bad AI. Do you have enough compute power to have your AI system learn and grow? And now we're going to go to Max, where he's going to mention some companies that do have this compute power.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing that with us, Rue. We are going to now jump into a little bit more about this specifically. So, for one, we're going to jump over to, believe it or not, Hedera. Been a while since we talked about Hedera, at least on my channel. I try to cover it as regularly as I can. I think the last video might have been maybe 2-3 weeks ago. So this is a great update for you guys. We're going to pull this up as well. So give me just a second to do so. And again, a big shout out to our brother in space, Smoke, with this one again, because he points out a little bit more of what you just heard from Rue. So what is it all about? Well, HBAR will directly benefit from exponential AI adoption in 2025. Back in January of this year, 2025, there was a report from HiveMind Capital. Definitely did highlight Hedera as a top near-term opportunity for securing AI. And as AI adoption grows, trust and security are critical. Hedera is a verifiable, again, compute, think about that, built with Intel, NVIDIA, and EQ-TY Lab, ensures AI decisions are provable and, of course, tamper-proof. This is key. And on top of that, look what it also says here. For those struggling to find AI-focused crypto investments, HBAR stands out. While many other projects claim to be AI coins, Hedera is already working with major players to secure real AI applications. Institutional demand is coming positioned accordingly. Well, I already have, but that's okay. We're all learning, and if anything, we're still stacking. I wouldn't mind picking up some more, obviously, HBAR. So let's pull this up. Here's what he's talking about in regard to the publication from the source of HiveMind Capital. 9 themes we're excited about. And again, what we talked about specifically with AI and so on. The other area that we're going to jump into is a little bit more from that publication. And here it is. I blow this up as well. It says straight from HiveMind Capital, again, pounding home the whole thing of the AI revolution, the demand, again, how Hedera redefines it. And he wasn't just pulling something out of thin air. It is documented. And again, the highlight, enterprise blockchain has been a long time coming, but the pieces are finally coming into place. Again, verifiable compute. Again, back to what Rue was talking about. The narrative, I guess you could say, of this particular video, marries advanced hardware with blockchain to ensure AI outputs are provable, traceable, and trustworthy, enabling cryptographic proofs that guarantee trust in every AI decision. Again, the underlying factors of EQ, TY Lab, NVIDIA, Intel, and so on, but all underpinned by the transparency and immutability of Hedera's network. This innovation reflects years of research and highlights the transformative potential partnerships between leading enterprises and the Hedera ecosystem. This makes enterprise-grade AI, notice how it says AI, not only secure, but also verifiable. As AI reshapes global industries, Hedera is emerging as the backbone for enterprise-grade blockchain solutions. That is very, very crucial. Another great finding from Smoke. Make sure you give him a follow over at SMQKEDQG on the X platform. Now, the other area we want to jump into now is this key area that Rue found in his research. What you see here basically is some familiar faces, Brian Armstrong and Larry Fink of Blackrock. Obviously, Brian Armstrong of Coinbase, I should say. Larry Fink of Blackrock, not worried about another crypto winner. And I want you guys to understand why we point out some of these things. Like, we were guests with our brother in space, Rob Mass, Crypto Future. Rob has pointed out, don't dismiss the 4-year cycles, and we agree with that. But it does seem as though we're getting more and more hints about the whole notion of, could we finally have a disruptor? And I know some people feel as though, hey, it had been 2025, but we're already at the end of 2025. Some people are pointing out that it's 2026 through the documentation of like all these things coming out, whether it's, finally we would get to regulations and so on. And you're hearing more about this consistently every day. And my main thing is, again, you have Larry Fink of Blackrock, the world's largest asset custodian, over 10 trillion of assets under management. Is this a head fake? Are these guys like, are they telling us what we want to hear? Or in reality, is it the opposite? Draw your own conclusion with some of this, but I think the material that Rue found in this is profound. So we've gone ahead and fast forward to key areas of this sit down roundtable. Listen to it for yourself because it does make a lot of sense and it does elaborate more on the subject of compute, AI and compute. Again, this whole AI bubble. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this and then we'll jump back here in just a little bit. Here we go.
I've had this various conversation. They're not certain if they're overspending or underspending right now, but that what they're certain is and they're seeing it right now, most hyperscalers are short compute. There's not enough happening, the amount of demand for this.
Right.
That being said, the timing of this build out may underperform their investment criteria, but they're certain that the demand will be there. And this is why I love a capitalistic market. I'm not here to suggest there's not going to be some, headline blowups. I mean, there are going to be some huge winners and huge failures. I mean, it gets to this K economy. But I would say there are going to be just incredible winners. And I've raised this question with politicians. Does that mean we're going to have $5-10 trillion companies? What does that mean societal? How are we making sure? This is why I love the new children's account, because how do we broaden the economy if these hyperscalers are these massive winners?
So I'm going to pause on that note for a brief bit. I mean, my goodness, he's saying, as Larry Fink, $10 trillion companies. If you look at the entire overall crypto market, I mean, even when things were bullish, we were at what, touching maybe 4 point some odd trillion for the entire space of all assets, right? Aside from data from Coinmarketcap, CoinGecko, and so on. So, all the market cap bros, where are they at, right? Pointing out the whole thing, like there's no way that we're gonna get these valuations. And now you're hearing from the world's largest asset manager, obviously BlackRock, right? Making these crazy statements. I want to get more of your thoughts, and please, by all means, share if there's more on this interview that you want us to play. Take it away.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a good point there. When you think about all the things that Ripple's used for, and possibly being the backbone of the central bank currency, one of the things that they talk about later, I don't know if we want to bring this up or not, is derivatives, right? And when you think about derivatives and things like Polymarket, right, that's a whole untapped market that with stable coins making it so it's like basically feeless, and stable coins also making it so it's global, right? Then that derivatives market can very much explode. So it's interesting to see. I definitely think that there's going to be a lot more created with derivatives markets and things like that people are not anticipating with cryptocurrency, with things like Ripple, with ISO 20022, where we can get these $10 trillion companies that Larry Fink is talking about.
The end of your quarterly earnings call, we've been having discussions about Polymarket and prediction markets and everybody betting on what people are going to say at any given moment. And you read off the words that people were betting on the call. You said Bitcoin, Ethereum, blockchain, staking, Web3. Tens of thousands of dollars had been bet on each of those words. People were betting on whether you would actually say those words, and then you effectively were trolling them, I think. Can you tell us? Tell me what you think about that and what you think about prediction markets if you can effectively determine the winner in such a way. And by the way, there's lots of folks who are now bet. There are people in here. I heard there were people making bets about what was going to happen at DealBook. CNN just made a contract with Kalshi, apparently, to have people bet on news. What were you thinking during the conference call?
Yeah, well, the conference call was me just having a little bit of fun. But I think the bigger picture here is that prediction markets are a big deal. And it's for 1% of people, they're trading it just like another asset class. But for 99% of people, they're looking at it as an alternative, I think, to traditional media, actually, to figure out what's going to happen in the world. And then some people are also just using it for entertainment, right? So it's a very interesting new area. I think that actually we're going to see even more potential here. Like an example would be policymakers could actually use prediction markets to say, okay, of these 3 policies, which one will raise GDP or which one will lower unemployment the most or whatever metric you're trying to get? and they can get signal from the market about which policy to actually go implement. So it's one more example of this trend of kind of taking.
Do you worry about manipulation? I mean, that's the other big part of it. And by the way, you effectively manipulated the outcome.
Yeah, well, I didn't trade on it, of course, but I actually had a really interesting conversation with one of the folks that was nominated to be CFTC commissioner about this, and he asked me, he said, "Do you think we should allow insider trading in prediction markets?" And I said, it's actually it's not as clear-cut question, right? Because if your goal is to actually, for the 99% of people trying to get signal about what's going to happen in the world, like is the Suez Canal going to be reopened or whatever, you actually want insider trading. You want, some admiral sitting on a ship in the Suez Canal who has really good information to be trading, so you get better, higher quality signal out of them, right? Now, if you want to preserve the integrity of those markets, maybe you don't want insider trading, right? So there might be like a decentralization test that has to go in here, but it's not a clear-cut answer.
Larry, I don't know what they're betting you're going to say, but you just sort of made a face.
We try to help people navigate a 30-year outcome. I don't really care about what happens the next moment. I mean, I'm aware in the betting market, in football, you could bet every play. I mean, to me, this is not how I'm going to live my life.
Larry Fink.
My goodness, what a cop-out way of talking about it. But anyway, a little bit more of your thoughts on this.
That's good for Larry because he wants to maintain that BlackRock is investing for the long term. But for people like Brian Armstrong and Coinbase, and remember Coinbase Venture is an investment partner of or an investor in Zebek, right? Having a market like that would be very lucrative for them, right? And you can imagine when we think about AI and compute power, right? Maybe you even have prognostications or trying to prognosticate what signal is coming next. You can have a derivative on top of a derivative, right? So that market could get pretty huge when we talk about betting, when we talk about like prognostication or like trying to guess what's going to happen or what someone's going to say or what a certain outcome will be. That can be pretty lucrative. But yeah, so that's a little bit something that I wanted to explore. But I know also Max had some things coming up about Tau.
Yes, we're going to jump into that for just a brief bit. It just kind of makes you realize that there's a real bigger picture here that I don't think a lot of people have considered. So we're going to pull that up as well. Let's just take a moment to do so. And in the findings, you're going to see specifically this. And big shout out to Tokenizer with the finding and the research. So right here, Tokenizer says he tried Tau Studios for the first time. In reality, Tokenizer did an excellent job of covering Tau, period. He covered it, I believe, since I want to say the $40 range. A lot of people had some great gains with that, right? So it says, as a creator who used AI art daily for content, he was blown away. Not only was it free, but it did the job better than 90% of AI art tools he's used. Nothing more than a stepping stone for BitTensor. This is the bigger picture. By now, you've probably seen a variety of different AI tools. I mean, who hasn't? I use quite a few for numerous things, right? Research, you name it, thumbnails. But here's a few that he worked on. Vesper AI tool for writing on X, ChatGPT, who doesn't use that? Runway, 11 Labs, you name it, right? But it's all crazy how fast AI is already evolving. And what gets really interesting, he talks about, for example, this area about the AI models, right? So he says this whole thing about AI models for anybody to begin leveraging, right? So imagine how many more innovative AI tools and ideas there would potentially be born out there. The other area I want to jump down to is when we talk about Tau, well, they play a role. The whole thing of Tau that is, like what he's excited for, in regards to this future. So jumping down, way down into this, he talks about, for example, a lot of you guys are familiar with Metcalfe's law, and I'm going to do more of a proper deep dive on it, but he believes that these are the infancies of Metcalfe's law times AI. They can't wait to see the future of it. Now, if you're wondering how BitTensor works, as in Tau, even on basic search, it works as a decentralized network connecting machine learning models, creating an open marketplace for AI intelligence using its own blockchain and Tau token. If you think about also, it mentions down here, excuse me, let's go down to it. There's a video about really gets into the fundamentals of this. So I want you to apply what we just talked about with specifically Larry Fink with what they mentioned, okay? And how does Tau in itself capitalize on AI compute power? going to this next era of blockchain distributed ledger technology, because Tau has the same tokenomics for the most part with Bitcoin. I look at Tau as literally being like, it's basically Bitcoin, but times AI, like big time. They have 4-year halvings, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to play this quick video, and it's going to show you why Rue and I are even bullish on things like Tau. Some of you guys in the community, even on the Patreon, have mentioned, hey, Max, you look more into Tau, and I did a proper little outline about that. So we're going to jump over to this, and then we'll get some closing comments. I have an idea of how this all comes together. Supply meets demand, and, you know, you could clearly see where if there really was a burst of the bubble, which there was, which ones will emerge from this. So we did throw Tau into the mix. Tau's got some of the best tokenomics out there. Obviously, if I'm talking about things like comparing QNT to, you know, BTC tokenomics, give me a break, right? But I think Tau definitely deserve their flowers on that one. Your closing statements with all the material from yourself, me, et cetera, Rue.
Well, you can see that companies like Tau and companies like Hedera stand above all the rest. Tau, they're incentivizing with money, staking, and whatnot to have a big compute power. Hedera, with all the people that are validating them, like a Deutsche Bank, or I'm sorry, Deutsche Telekom, T-Mobile, you know, Dell, and all of that. They have huge validators. They can probably do AI really bigger than anyone else because they have these large amount of validators. So in looking and choosing an AI crypto, you probably want to see if they have a lot of compute power. So thanks for that, Max.
You bet. I would agree with those statements about compute power. And again, Tau really stands out. Hedera really stands out. Numerous things stand out about this. And again, glad to be back with Rue. If you listen to the entire thing, simply do us a solid and type in this key 2 letters into the comments, and that is AI. Because let's face it, the bubble did very well burst. Gives us feedback on who listened to the whole thing. We do appreciate you guys. So saying goes, know what you have, know what you hold it. The research trumps flood 110%. We'll see you guys on the next video. Over and out.
Peace.